Breaking news tonight out of East County, where crews are still on the scene of an explosive fire that damaged nearly half a dozen buildings and left one person hurt. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
And I'm Anna Laurel. That fire broke out off Las Cochas Road East. At last check, the fire's progress has been stopped at 5 acres and is 5% contained. Tonight, we have team coverage on this fire. Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis is standing by with a look at conditions in the area.
And both Richard Allen and Alex Cheney are live near the scene as crews work toward full containment. We begin with CBS 8's Richard Allen. Richard.
And Carlo and Anna, we can see right behind me one of the casualties of this fire, number 39 in the Monterey Mobile Home Park, completely destroyed by this fire. You can see, though, on either side, though, number 38 and number 40 were untouched. We understand this fire started just outside of the mobile home park, right on the street, right on Highway 8 outside. And from what neighbors are telling us, the wind carried embers from the fire, carrying those embers. Unfortunately, this house, this home here, was caught and went up in flames, and it took firefighters a good hour to extinguish this fire. In fact, firefighters just left a short while ago. You can still see smoke coming up, though, from the embers, from the ashes of this fire here. Now, we understand also that residents, neighbors here in this mobile home park, very tight-knit community, raced to help each other to make sure other homes did not go up. We spoke with one neighbor here who's lived here for 8 years. She explained how neighbors were helping neighbors to make sure no one else's home went up in flames. Take a listen.
What they did was take the hoses, wet down the fences, which were on fire, put out the fire on the fences, and also they went over that and made sure that the hillside was not, they put out the hot spots.
And even though there were mandatory evacuation orders ordered for this community, a lot of neighbors actually did not heed those orders. They remained behind, as you heard, staying behind to try to protect their property and protect the property of their neighbors. Unfortunately, this one, number 39, did not survive. We understand, though, that no one was injured. The man who owns this property here, he was at work at the time, but he was informed that his home was destroyed in this fire. Now, continuing our coverage, we have CBS 8's Alex Cheney, who is on the other side of the Monterey Mobile Home Park. Alex, what is it looking from your vantage point?
Terrible.
Yeah, that's right, Richard. I'm just a little bit on the other side of from where you are, so we can see a couple things from here. We can see this really wide valley that is now completely charred. We just saw a line of CAL FIRE firemen come through here. They had their pickaxes, they had their chainsaws, and it looks like they're going to start to take down some of this shrubbery and some of these dead trees around here to make sure that there's no other problems. You saw the one house that burned down. This is the other one as we pan over here, and as you can see, this one is going to be a complete loss as well. The fire went all the way through the back there that leads into the valley and also through much of the roof as well. I spoke to a woman earlier. She told me she's been living in this mobile home park for the last 10 years. She was at work today. She was at Petco Park when her children called her to let her know about the fire, and she raced home. Take a listen.
My kids called me and said, Mom, I think your park's on fire. It doesn't look so good. So yeah, we had lost a house over here, so I'm not sure about the rest, but thank you to my manager who let me go, and thank you to San Diego and Lakeside Fire Department. Man, you guys rock. What would we do without you?
And Lisa told me that another neighbor, Robert, is actually the one who came into this unit here, number 29, and helped the woman who was inside of the home get out of there very quickly. And fortunately, he did, because as you can see, this home is a loss. Looks like the mop-up is going to take at least a few more hours here, as we still got lots of hose out and lots of water dropping as well. Just a few of those hot spots to put out. But the good news here, the forward progress is stopped. The mood, for the most part, has dropped a little bit as we start to get around on this fire this afternoon. Back over to you.
All right, glad it stopped, but devastating for some families out there. Alex, stay with us for the latest updates on this fire. We'll have the latest information posted on CBS8.com. You can also follow us on social media or download our free CBS 8 app. And our coverage continues with Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis.
She joins us now with a look at the conditions in East County earlier and what it's like out there right now. Carlene.
Yeah, as the fellas made reference to earlier today, we did have some gustier winds, and unfortunately unfortunately, that's what was pushing those embers around as they hop from tree to tree and unfortunately impacting for some people's homes. Now, we did have some dry conditions return in the forecast as we were getting away from that monsoonal moisture to kick off this week. That's why you saw a lack of clouds out there, but that also brought down our humidity values. So firefighters were fighting this in 90-degree temperatures, and that started around 11 in the morning and kept going all the way into the early evening. But now we're starting to see a difference. So 87 degrees, so temperatures starting to gradually slip as we go into tonight. Now, and around that time that we did have that fire breaking out, we had some gusts in the areas that were into the teens. So some gusts that were picking up upwards of about 13 to 14 miles per hour. I think 14 miles per hour when I look back at the data over the last couple hours, that is the peak. But 10 miles per hour right now, still with the dry conditions when it comes to humidity, but it's going to go up for the rest of tonight. So we'll go ahead and take a look at your complete forecast coming up. Carlo.
Thanks, Carlene. As always, you can find extended weather forecasts on CBS 8 Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
It's incredibly frustrating because there's no logic in it, and you just you can't make sense to anybody, and nobody wants to hear it.
A senior couple is caught in a trash collection standoff with no one willing to pick up their garbage. They no longer qualify for city pickup service, and they've been turned away by private companies.
So they reached out to us for help. CBS 8's Brian White is working for you, looking into what can be done to clean up the mess many could soon be facing.
Yeah, for the past 10 years, the Boltons have rolled their trash and recycling bins out to 10th Avenue, just like their neighbors for city pickup. But now they've received a notice in the mail saying that in 5 weeks, that service will stop.
We bought in 2015, and we've had trash service. We just keep our cans in our garage, and we roll them out. Now we're told that we're not eligible.
Lynn and Stanley Bolton live in the F Street row homes, a group of single-family houses built in 2002 in East Village. While they've always received city trash service, they've now been told they don't qualify under new rules tied to Measure B, which changed how San Diego charges for trash collection.
So you just feel kind of helpless, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Not a good feeling.
I reached out to the city's Environmental Services Department. They said the Boltons' home lacks an official dedicated collection point on a public street so that city trucks can safely collect there without disrupting traffic.
It feels like we're singled out and we're wasting a whole lot of time. We've wasted weeks now dealing with this.
After being denied by the city, the Boltons turned to private haulers like Edco and Republic, but hit another wall. Edco told them, quote, if you are a single-family home, the city of San Diego should remain servicing you. And Republic said, quote, we are only able to offer dumpster service at this time to Measure B impacted residents. With their current service ending October 15th, the Boltons say they're running out of time and options, and that they could face penalties and fines from the city if they don't find another trash service.
It's incredibly frustrating because there's no logic in it, and you just you can't make sense to anybody, and nobody wants to hear it.
A spokesperson for the city told me Environmental Services will be reaching out to the Boltons to help coordinate, and that if they group up with other ineligible homes nearby, it will improve their chances for private service.
It's a little scary because we're going away in October and we can't go anywhere until this is fixed.
We're going to stay on top of this story. Working for you in East Village, Brian White, CBS 8.
Remember, if there's something you'd like us to look into, email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. An emotional day inside a federal courtroom downtown where dozens of Girls Do Porn victims spoke at the sentencing for the now defunct website's mastermind, Michael Pratt.
CBS 8's Steve Price was in the courtroom as the sentence was handed down. He joins us live from outside the federal courthouse with reaction from those victims. Steve.
And Carlo and Anna, because this is a federal case, our cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom, but understandably, there were a lot of tears as the victims shared their stories. And clearly the judge was listening because she handed down a punishment that was greater than the maximum recommended sentence. Michael Pratt, the mastermind behind the Girls Do Porn website, sentenced today to 27 years in prison for sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and conspiracy to commit that crime.
He was is still refusing his responsibility, and that was just insulting. But it's not surprising with who we're dealing with and who this individual is.
Mariah was one of more than 36 victims to give impact statements today. She responded to a clothed modeling job, then says she got locked in a room and, fearing she wouldn't get out alive, performed sex acts on camera.
What gets posted on Craigslist is beginmodeling.com, bubblegumcasting.com, right? These very anodyne, innocent sounding websites that say that where you are, what you're doing is clothed modeling, right? And it happens to be on a beach in San Diego.
Federal prosecutor Alexandra Foster believes over 500 women were victimized.
They were promised a certain amount of money. Oftentimes they did not get paid that amount of money. They were promised it was only going to be 30 minutes. And you heard from these women, it was never 30 minutes.
It's believed at least 15 women committed suicide after their videos were posted online. Dozens of others say the exposure ruined their lives.
Hundreds of stalkers contacting me, texting my phone, emailing me at my university, emailing my colleagues, emailing my friends, my family.
The victims say they are grateful not only for the long sentence, but also for the judge granting the victims the rights to their videos, giving them the power to have them pulled off websites that are still posting them.
Even if you didn't want to participate, even if you're moving on with your life, you are still the copyright owner, and please, please come forward just for that.
So yeah, if you were a victim and you haven't wanted to come forward, now is the time to go ahead and contact the U.S. Attorney's Office so you can have that power to pull your videos offline. By the way, because Pratt was given a sentence longer than the recommended sentence, he does have the ability to appeal, but Carlo and Anna, he needs to make that decision within 14 days. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Steve. Very brave of all of those women to come forward.
Yeah.
An important traffic alert for people heading around the Del Mar area.
We've got those details still ahead, plus what you need to know about a road closure at the San Diego International Airport as it moves forward with the next phase of construction.
First, as the Supreme Court rules in favor of ICE resuming so-called roving patrols in California, we take you to the training in North County, hoping to keep families prepared if ICE shows up in their neighborhood. Next.